Tonight, coronavirus on the move, with a jump in the number of confirmed cases here in Victoria, as the Health Minister refuses to apologise over her criticism of a Tourette doctor infected with the deadly illness. Stock markets infected by virus fears, the ASX suffers its biggest drop since the global financial crisis. Full speed ahead for the Formula One, putting corona concerns on the back burner as the teams get ready to rev their engines. A stable hand working for top trainer Danny O'Brien killed in a freak accident while out for an early morning riding session. And champions of the world, our triumphant T20 women celebrate with fans, making dreams come true.
This is 10 News First Melbourne with Jennifer Keyte.
Good evening. Melbourne Cup winning trainer Danny O'Brien says he's been left devastated and heartbroken after one of his staff was killed in a freak car accident. The stable hand died after the horse he was riding was hit on the Bellarine Peninsula. Annie Kearney joins us live from Conowari. Annie, Danny O'Brien rushed to the scene of the crash.
He did, Jen, and I spoke to a clearly shattered Danny O'Brien after the accident. He said he and his employees have been left devastated by the death of their colleague. The stable hand had been riding an unraced horse from their huge training centre at Conowari to 13th Beach. It's a trip of about 5 kilometres that you can imagine they'd taken many, many times. But this morning, tragedy struck. It was about 6:45 when he and his mount were hit by a car. Passing cyclists tried to save the Japanese national, but sadly he died. I've spoken to a number of his friends, and they say that the 31-year-old had only been working here at Barwon Heads for Danny O'Brien for about a month. The O'Brien family spent today trying to contact his family back in Japan. In a statement, they said, "We've had some tough days in this industry, but they are nothing compared to the heartbreak and sadness of today. It appears the horse in question has only minor injuries. However, our vet will continue monitoring its progress." The female driver of the car also suffered minor injuries. Jen, Victoria Police and WorkSafe are investigating the crash.
OK, thank you very much, Annie. There are renewed calls for stronger regulations surrounding tree inspections after 3 people were killed by a falling gum at Callista. 2 others remain in hospital as police desperately try to contact the victim's family overseas.
24 hours after a freak accident claimed 3 lives in a national park, major collision detectives returned to the scene. They're now leading the investigation.
These are very rare events, and we can, up to a point, inspect some of the trees. We know what to look for.
A 32-year-old man and a 34-year-old woman from Aintree died when a gum tree fell on their car as they drove along Sherbrooke Road. Their 4-year-old son was taken to hospital with minor injuries, along with a 25-year-old woman from India. A 16-year-old passenger from India also died.
These are tragic circumstances. They're tragic accidents. What we have to look at in a non-political way is what can be done to try and avoid them recurring in the future.
In a statement, Parks Victoria said it's working with the Yarra Ranges Council and Victoria Police on the investigation. It's not clear who is responsible for inspecting the trees or how often they should be checked.
We usually recommend annually, but that's not all trees. That's for trees that you've got a reason to be suspicious of.
The tragedy follows a string of fatal tree falls, including the death of a father and son in July at nearby Sherbrooke. Jade Kotick for 10 News First.
Families of 38 Australians killed when flight MH17 was shot down over Ukraine are in the Netherlands hoping to get answers as the trial of those charged gets underway. 3 Russians and a Ukrainian are accused of murdering the almost 300 on board nearly 6 years ago.
Merrin and John O'Brien lost their 25-year-old son Jack when MH17 was shot out of the sky by a Russian missile.
You shouldn't be able to murder 298 people and for there to be no consequences, regardless of who you are. So it's important the truth about that is told.
Nearly 6 years after the attack, they're in Amsterdam for the trial of 3 Russians and 1 Ukrainian accused of murdering all 298 on board.
Ultimately, there is no best case scenario. We're here, the trial is very important, but the most important thing that Jack is no longer alive, and he and all the other people on MH17 had their lives snatched away.
The grief felt by all families is made worse by a lack of cooperation.
What was hurting also very much was that the Russians tried to cover everything up.
Outside the Russian embassy in Amsterdam, relatives of victims laid out 298 empty chairs, one for each life lost.
They will see this behind the curtains, but they never stepped out of the embassy to talk to us.
Russia has always denied any responsibility, but these relatives hope this trial may bring some secrets to light.
Russia still has some answers to give us and to explain a lot of things that are still hidden in shrouds.
While friends and relatives of the victims have waited nearly 6 years for justice, it won't come quickly. This trial is expected to last months and could even push into next year. As relatives and friends of the victims gather in Amsterdam for the trial, the 4 men accused won't be there. Russia refuses to extradite them, and that makes it even harder to believe justice will ever really be done. Phoebe Bowden for 10 News First, Amsterdam.
And Phoebe Bowden joins us live now from Amsterdam. Phoebe, the trial will get underway in the next few hours. What is expected on the first day?
Jen, this first week is expected to be largely procedural. You can probably hear the planes taking off behind me because this courthouse is just a few hundred metres from the location where that MH17 flight took off from here in Amsterdam when it was heading to Kuala Lumpur. Now, this trial is going to look at the investigation so far that's taken place over the last 6 years. The first week's also going to consider whether charges need to be laid against anyone else. Currently, there are 4 men facing 298 counts of murder each. So this first week is going to be largely procedural. We're not expecting to hear a lot of fresh evidence, but that will be coming in this trial that's expected to last months, if not years. Jen.
OK, thank you, Phoebe. Our stock market has suffered its biggest losses since the global financial crisis, with more than $100 billion lost, or more than 7% in a matter of hours. It's fuelled by fear and uncertainty about the coronavirus, but there is a silver lining.
A sea of red as the markets drown in panic.
It's a grim day. The market had its worst decline since the global financial crisis.
More than $100 billion wiped off the ASX. Share portfolios and superannuation balances absolutely hammered. But despite the carnage, we're being reassured this is nothing like 2008.
And this is a very different situation to what we saw through the GFC, which was essentially a problem with the banking and the financial system and issues of liquidity. We haven't seen those same problems in relation to this health crisis.
Energy stocks the worst hit.
One of the ones that stood out was Santos falling in the order of 30%. To have that sort of loss in the space of a day is an extraordinary blow to investor confidence.
And while a lot of the market's recent losses have been down to coronavirus, today is different. It's because of a plunge in global oil prices. And the reason for that is last Friday, OPEC, the group that represents most of the world's major producers, asked Russia to cut its production as the world works through the health crisis. And at the moment, there just isn't the demand for oil, with decreased air travel and manufacturing. But Russia said no deal. It's going to press ahead with current levels. Now, this got a response from Saudi Arabia, the biggest exporter in the world. It's now going to ramp up production, flooding the market.
While a lot of this news can seem really scary, here's a tiny bit of an upside. Economists who've spoken with 10 News First say that if this global oil price holds, we could soon be paying 14 cents a litre less at the Bowser. That's the equivalent of a $2.4 billion tax break.
Between the coronavirus and this latest production war between Saudis and the Russians, well, you know, it's good times for Australian families.
Charlotte Goodlett for 10 News First.
Well, coronavirus concerns have caused havoc in the world of Formula One racing, with Bahrain announcing its event will be spectator-free. But not here. It's all systems go for Melbourne's Grand Prix as teams begin to arrive ahead of the big race.
In pit lane, Ferrari showed up last. Its shipment, that is. So did AlphaTauri's. Both teams are based in regions locked down by the Italian government because of the COVID-19 outbreak. They got special permission to leave.
The final personnel are leaving Milan pretty much as we speak.
Unlike the next race, round 2 in Bahrain, where fans will be banned because of outbreak concerns, but here caution will be key.
People will see increased washing stations, they'll see increased hand sanitisation.
Right now, on the ground, 1,500 workers are shifting 700 tonnes of freight, and F1 ambassadors living their best life.
So how good is this?
Getting a first taste of the food, flavours and entertainment. Maxime was flown in from Amsterdam just to pour the perfect beer.
You want to pour it the right way, so it's a 45-degree angle.
It's all about speed too.
This is where the action happens, in the pits, but we're in the Pamper pit. Jay, Joey, can you fix this face and hair in 3 seconds?
Yeah, we
sure can. But the hat needs to go.
Thanks, guys.
And the choreography of that is sensational.
And while Ferrari is fast, COVID-19 may slow them down.
I get the impression that the teams are slightly reduced in their numbers.
Time will tell if the virus will impact the paddock and podium. Christina Costalis for 10 News First.
Australia's triumphant women cricketers have celebrated with adoring fans at Federation Square. And after winning another World Cup before 86,000 fans, they've perhaps inspired the next generation of sportswomen.
They are the new rock stars of Australian sport.
How about you wear my feathers?
Oh my God!
On top of the world again with hangovers to match, the celebrations are set to continue.
To be able to achieve that last night was amazing to be a part of, and I hope it's not a one-off occasion.
The World Cup win was one thing, the 86,000 strong crowd another, but then there was dancing with Katy Perry.
Did that actually happen? But we were on stage dancing with Katy Perry, and yeah, it just topped off an incredible night.
Unfortunately, Rachel Haynes missed out. The drug testers, the fun police.
A massive stitch up with the drug testing, but I was absolutely spewing when the doctor came in and said, "Oh, how good was that on stage?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
It turns out making the final was harder than winning it. What's made this even more special for this fabulous team was all the adversity it's had to overcome.
Scraped into the semi-finals and made it by 9 minutes, and then just to smash it on the big stage. It's very special.
Elisa Healy's sensational 75 off 39 balls set up the victory.
Oh, she hit that fine beautifully.
To be able to put the perfect game on the big stage in front of a lot of people, unbelievable.
Apart from the birth of my children and my marriage, it was the greatest day of my life. It was amazing.
Injury robbed star all-rounder Elise Perry, but she remains upbeat.
For me, it didn't quite pan out, but it's fine. I've had an amazing and very fortunate ride along the way.
The Aussies again are T20 champions on a night that meant much more for women's sport. Rob Waters for 10 News First.
So good. And Stephen will have more on the celebrations in sport.
I will, Jen. Also plenty of footy. A Swan Star reported as the Kangaroos hang on for a tight win in Hobart. The Cats take on the Dons in Colac. Golfer Mark Leishman in the money again. And Man U get the better of their crosstown rivals again with some help from the city's goalkeeper.
Thanks, Stephen. Coming up in 10 News First. On the front line, we're on the high seas as Border Force battles to keep us safe in dangerous times. And marvellous Moomba steps back in time to when giant creatures ruled the earth.
It's just another day in camp. And then it changes, just like that. Bang. What's happened? What's happened? What's the matter? We don't know what's going on. We got no idea. It's devastating for all of us. It's a tragedy.
The shock departure.
7:30 tonight.
What makes Nature's Way Adult Vita Gummies seriously good? Is it their multivitamin with 14 key vitamins, minerals and nutrients? Or 99% sugar-free calcium with vitamin D for strong bones, teeth and muscle health? Maybe it's their hair, skin and nails Vita Gummies to support collagen production. Or maybe the delicious flavour. For your daily health boost, choose Nature's Way Adult Vita Gummies. They're seriously good.
Bedshed are having a sale, with all Sleepmaker mattresses reduced to half price and all bedroom furniture at up to 40% off. Beds, bedsides, tall boys and more. No exceptions. Bedshed, no one's better in the bedroom.
If you've been injured in a road accident, it's important to know where you stand. Talk to Australia's #1 injuries law firm. Morris Blackburn Lawyers will maximise your compensation so you can get on with your life again. Call us now. It costs nothing to know where you stand.
Yes, it's the first word of any new discovery. Telfast helps you say yes with fast, non-drowsy hay fever allergy relief. Turn a half-hearted yes into an all-in yes. Telfast. Live your life.
Come on, Dan. That's new Up and Go no added sugar. It's next level goodness. Well, now we're talking, Dan. Now we're talking. New Up and Go no added sugar.
On the surface, this boat looks spotless, while dirt hides below, just like bacteria below your gums. That's why I recommend Oral-B Gum Detoxify toothpaste to trap and neutralise bacteria along the gum line for healthy gums. Oral-B Gum Detoxify.
The federal government is working to finalise a stimulus package worth at least $10 billion in a desperate bid to avoid a recession as coronavirus fears grip the world. But it means the PM's promised budget surplus has almost certainly gone.
A $10 billion stimulus package to ward off recession as the effects of the coronavirus bite means the promised surplus is no more.
This is obviously a challenging time, but the Australian economy is remarkably resilient.
10 News First caught up with the Treasurer as he arrived in Canberra for ongoing crisis talks with his department.
Well, our focus is on keeping people in a job and supporting those businesses through what is a very difficult time.
Josh Frydenberg today putting the finishing touches on a stimulus package Cabinet will consider tomorrow.
The discipline that we have undertaken in relation to budget management over the last 6.5 years has prepared us well for this very moment.
Actually, government debt has doubled over the last 6 years.
Australia needs this government to do a better job managing these challenges than they have done managing the economy in recent years.
10 News First can reveal a speculated rise in the New Start allowance will not be included in the stimulus package, but support for casual workers might be.
Well, the Minister for Industrial Relations is sitting down with peak employee and employer groups tomorrow.
With the surplus lost, Scott Morrison's election brag was a case of over-promising but under-delivering.
We brought the budget back to surplus next year. And did you catch that? We brought the budget back to surplus next year.
We brought it back next year.
Peter Van Onselen for 10 News First.
A group of up to 20 men have attacked a teenager overnight, leaving him with significant injuries. The 18-year-old from Taylors Lakes was walking on Stagecoach Avenue in Sydenham when he was assaulted by the group. They kicked, cut and bashed the victim with what appeared to be a baton, then stole his cigarettes. He was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Well, let's take a look at the traffic now. It's up to Jess Miller in the chopper.
Thanks, Jen. Checking out Flemington in the Sheen Panel Service Traffic Chopper. We have crews on site for a burst water main. This has actually been ongoing since early this morning. This is Racecourse Road, just before the Newmarket Rail Bridge. Left-hand lane out of action for city-bound traffic, so a little bit of congestion through here, as you'll see. Also a collision for Cranbourne South, Browns Road, just near the Western Port Highway. But on the whole, the roads are looking pretty quiet, thanks to the public holiday. Jen?
Thank you, Jess. Tears and tributes today for murdered Brisbane mother Hannah Clark and her 3 children who were murdered 3 weeks ago. Among more than 1,000 mourners was the Prime Minister, as they were remembered as strong and loving.
It was almost as if the heavens knew. On the greyest of days, the hardest of goodbyes, to 4 of the brightest rays of sunshine.
We come here today on the back of an act of unspeakable evil. For many of us, it felt like we had been shrouded in a shroud of darkness. But it is only when we embrace this darkness that we can see the brightness of the stars shine through.
Hannah Ashley Clark, 31, smart, beautiful, strong, the funeral heard, and according to her brother Nat, the greatest mother to walk this earth.
We had the type of bond that parents want for their kids.
Aaliyah, 6 years old and sassy. Leanna, 4, tiny and mighty. And Trey, 3, a mummy's boy.
I'm going to miss winding you up, Leah. I'm going to miss getting called a stinky poo-poo head by you, Leanna. I'm going to miss your smile, Hannah. And Trey, I'm going to miss you calling Jado your best friend.
It's been 3 weeks since the mother and children were murdered by Hannah's jealous, estranged husband, set alight in their car while on the school run. Heartbreakingly, her family and friends still feel a sense of guilt.
I'm so sorry I couldn't protect you.
I'm so sorry I couldn't protect you, Hannah, Aaliyah, Leanna and Trey. We love and miss you all so much.
I see signs that you're with us all the time. The rolling thunder the night you passed, you were angry and so were we. I thought, why? We felt cheated. I just couldn't understand.
Nobody should have to fare well for people so young, but more than 1,000 were there, including the Prime Minister, the Premier and the Police Commissioner. Hannah's parents, Sue and Lloyd, sat in the front row.
And until we meet again, I'll bask in your afterglow, smiling that you and your babies will never spend another second apart. And I'll see your beautiful faces when I fall asleep.
As a mother and her 3 children made their final journey together, side by side in a single white coffin,
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine.
the hope was that Hannah, Aaliyah, Leanna and Trey would not be remembered for how they died, but instead for how they lived.
Please don't take my sunshine away.
Georgina Hill for 10 News First.
And ahead in 10 News First, radical measures as health authorities in Italy desperately try to curb the spread of coronavirus. And busted, the international smuggling ring caught trying to traffic some unusual creatures.
And you've got to love a long weekend. It is Moomba with the Moomba Masters. Weather details shortly, and it's warming up this week.
Crashing your car can leave you feeling stranded. Contact Sheen Panel Service. We deal with your insurance company and will organise an accident replacement vehicle, keeping you on the road while we fix your car. For more information, visit sheengroup.com.au.
It's just another day in camp. And then it changes. Just like that. Bang. What's happened? What's happened? What's the matter? We don't know what's going on. We got no idea. It's devastating for all of us. It's a tragedy.
The shock departure. 7:30 tonight.
Bloating? Here. Heartburn?
Here.
Dehydration? Present. Constipation? Get a move on. And diarrhoea.
Just made it, ma'am.
Now that you're all here, you're dismissed. Thanks to GastroHealth's digestive support range, including probiotics, prebiotic fibre, antacids, and electrolytes. GastroHealth is digestive health in a class of its own.
Life happens. That's why Bupa's here. Because double bouncing will always be a thing. Because bundles aren't always full of joy. Because small print is always on the menu. And because every chance deserves to be celebrated. Every day, millions of Australians trust their health to Bupa. Because life happens. Call today.
Oh, look, car! Stop! No, Sergey, this one. We go home in style. Okay. Oh, hello, possums. Here, cats. It pays to compare. Simples.
Max and I just discovered this dog treat called Dentalife. It's really different. See, it's flexible. It has a chewy, porous texture, full of little tiny air pockets that gives dogs' teeth a clean scrub all the way down to the gum line.
Purina Dentalife. For life.
Our health insurance is going up on April 1st.
Enter the Belusionist.
Whoa!
Is that your bill?
No, this one's smaller.
Compare, select and save with iSelect on 13, 19, 20.
Find you're happy with this exclusive 10 Traveller Fiji offer. Stay 5 nights at Outrigger Fiji Beach Resort from just $12.99. More great Fiji offers available at 10traveller.com.au/Fiji or 1800 875 565.
It's the SUV that's ready for anything. With Mazda quality and safety, and now even better value. In petrol for city living or diesel for what's beyond. New Mazda CX-8. Future ready.
Save up to 10% on your first year's premium when you get a new Allianz home insurance policy online.
Okay, done.
Get that Allianz feeling. Search for a quote today.
Hey guys, what'd you like?
Coffee, thanks.
2 coffees, please. Coffees. What kind of coffee would he like?
Cappuccino.
Cappuccino. What can I get for you?
I'll have a coffee, thanks.
Yeah, 2 coffees, please. That's awesome. And what kind of coffee would you like?
Cappuccino, thanks.
2 cappuccinos.
Autism. Change your reactions, change your actions.
Will leave.
It's devastating for all of us.
The Shock Departure, 7:30 tonight.
The Aussie accountant living the dream in a French chateau.
Your exclusive invite inside.
Plus,
a shock revelation.
What's happened?
Will rock the entire tribe.
We'll get the latest after a very emotional goodbye. That's tomorrow on Studio 10.
This is 10 News First. Outside of China, Italy is now the new frontier in the battle against the coronavirus as the number of infections there skyrockets. Radical new measures are being put in place to stop the spread, including a total travel ban affecting a quarter of the country.
Milan is the new Wuhan. Empty streets, roadblocks, no one allowed in or out of the region for a month. The government has quarantined 16 million people after the coronavirus death toll doubled overnight to 366.
We're disappointed, but we totally understand why they were closing.
Schools, gyms and museums are closed, weddings and funerals banned, even the Pope's taking precautions.
Buongiorno.
Live streaming Sunday service for the first time to deter huge crowds from the Vatican, and AC Milan played to an empty stadium. In France, public events of more than 1,000 people are banned. Here in America, there's talk of similar measures, like locking down regions and prohibiting large events, like campaign rallies. Joe Biden, who was seen cleaning his hands on the trail today, says he'll listen to officials.
Whatever advice they give me, we'll take.
We hope this just goes away, burns itself out the way SARS did.
Because a vaccine is still many months away. Eamon Ashton-Atkinson for 10 News First, New York.
Mexico's most dangerous festival has started with a bang, but so far there have been no injuries or deaths. While it looks like a battle, it's actually a celebration of the patron saint of fireworks, San Juan de Dios. The fireworks, known as castles, are run through the streets of the town and people charge them, similar to a bullfight. And it's not without risk. Every year dozens of spectators are burnt, while 2 years ago 19 people were killed when a fireworks cache detonated early. Colombian police have busted a worldwide turtle smuggling ring, finding dozens of native mata-mata turtles hidden in packages. The turtles were on their way to the US and Japan, where their distinctive appearance makes them a favourite with collectors. Police have estimated the turtles would have been worth more than $300,000 on the black market. Two men and their golden retriever have had an amazing escape, emerging from a plane crash without a scratch. The pilot had reported engine trouble and was trying to land when he came up short and crashed into a tree. The tree did at least prevent them hitting the house just a few metres further on. A sunny public holiday, and now here's Mike with what's in store for the rest of the week.
Yes, thank you, Jen, and a very good evening. Well, for some it's the Labor Day holiday. For the rest of us, it is Moomba Monday, Melbourne's annual celebration, now in its 66th year. Daggy, delightful, choice is yours. Today, day 4, culminating in fabulous fireworks tonight at around 9:30. Well, out of the sun, it was a tad on the chilly side today. In the sun, fabulous. 12 to 21 degrees in Melbourne on this Monday. It's around about 19 as we speak. Warming up nicer this week. In fact, close to 30 degrees by the weekend as we get closer to the Grand Prix. Yep, forecast in full from Alexandra Gardens in around half an hour. I'll see you then. Jen.
Thanks, Mike. Now let's get a taste of what they're dishing up on the project tonight.
Tonight, confirmed cases of coronavirus are growing, so would shutting down all of our schools help contain it?
We're still celebrating our women's T20 cricket team's World Cup win.
And if you want to be all up in Melanie C's grill, she'll be here at the desk tonight.
Plus, the winner of the Best in Show disgraces herself, and I've got the poop scoop.
All that and more coming up at 6:30. See you then.
And still to come, we'll have an update on the world of finance and on the high seas on the front line, defending our borders in uncertain times.
It's just another day in camp. And then it changes.
It's devastating for all of us. It's a tragedy.
The shock departure, 7:30 tonight.
Mondella makes it easier to create the bathroom you've always wanted. From planning your design to choosing your style, even hints and tips on how to bring your dream bathroom to life. Imagine, choose and transform your bathroom with Mondella.
It's incredible. Over 70% of tickets in the Royal Melbourne Hospital Home Lottery have already been sold. Don't miss your chance to win the sensational grand prize Matsay home in Brighton East. You'll have no mortgage and no worries with $250,000 in the bank. With over 14,000 prizes, your chances of winning are 1 in 15. Tickets won't last long. Get yours today and help support patient care and research at the Royal Melbourne.
$19.99 per kilo? Childs, this lowly price is making Aussie lamb racks look attainable. Be a darling and cloche it, would you?
Consider it closhed, Mum. Aldi, good, different.
Endless nights, jet lag, oily skin? Get a Garnier mask moment. Garnier Tissue Mask, our first hydrating mask, infused with 1 full bottle of serum. In just 1 mask, replump your skin and glow. Garnier Tissue Mask by Garnier, naturally.
For however you do business, we'll help you keep your beat. With CommBank, you can.
Gold is one of the most valuable metals on Earth. Today, as we work to stay fit and healthy, and medical science continues to explore new ways to save our lives, it's gold nanoparticle cancer research that offers new hope for the future. So as technology transforms our precious metals, it's great to know that Australian gold will help us fight cancer. There's more to Australian mining.
Save at the Mazda stock clearance. BT50 4x4 XT Utes now from only $37,490 drive away for ABN holders. Limited stock, limited time, great savings.
Keep things light and airy with delicious Smith's Poppables. Thanks for sharing, finally. 1 pop and you're in love.
Got your sports bag?
Parents have a lot on their to-do list.
That's why the Victorian Government is making it easier for our kids to get the dental care they need. That means an annual checkup and comprehensive dental treatment for free. We call it Smile Squad, and we'll be rolling out to every primary and secondary government school between now and 2022. That's another thing you can check off your to-do list. Visit smilesquad.vic.gov.au. Authorised by the Victorian Government, Melbourne.
The number of coronavirus cases in Victoria has jumped again, increasing by 50% in just 72 hours. Doctors are now urging anyone who has returned from overseas to get checked if they feel unwell, putting our health system under pressure.
The 3 new cases confirmed last night take Victoria's coronavirus count from 10 to 15 in just 3 days. Authorities now say any overseas traveller with flu-like symptoms should be tested as the illness continues to spread around the world.
The growing case numbers in the US over the last few days are of concern, but we're just watching that.
Victoria's latest coronavirus patients touched down on flights from America and Iran. A man in his 50s travelled home from the US on the same plane as Dr. Chris Higgins. The coronavirus positive GP is demanding an apology from the health minister over suggestions he should have known better than to go to work unwell.
I won't make any apology for putting the public health of Victorians first.
More than 17,000 people have signed a petition in support of Dr. Higgins. The State Health Department claims a runny nose should have been a red flag.
Respiratory symptoms have generally been understood to include runny nose, but if it needs to be made explicit for clinicians to be able to make that judgment, then I'm sure that they can consider it.
But advice about the sniffles remains unclear.
It depends on the extent of it. Clearly you can tell between a slightly blocked and sniffed nose and someone who has a cold. Most people can tell that.
In Sydney, 2 schools have been shut down after 3 students tested positive to the virus. It's thought they may have picked it up locally. While there haven't been any local transmissions in Victoria, the government says it's just a matter of time. It's working on boosting capacity for public hospitals to do on-site testing, with tests for healthcare workers to be made a priority. Repeated testing allowed Caitlin So and her family to be released from quarantine in Japan. The 16-year-old contracted COVID-19 on board the Diamond Princess. She's now virus-free after 32 days in isolation.
Seeing my friends again and seeing other people, going outside more often.
Estelle Lewis for 10 News First.
Now to our exclusive look at the last line of defence, keeping Australian borders safe. 10 News First reporter Natalie Forrest headed out with our elite marine tactical teams as they patrol the high seas for pirates and smugglers.
They're an elite tactical response group patrolling our waters.
085.
Ready to defend Australia's maritime borders from any threat.
Everyone brings with them some special, unique skill sets that all help us towards achieving the mission.
Each member highly trained, armed and ready.
We can also deploy armed boarding parties and we'll have a deck-mounted weapon capability as well.
We got an exclusive ride-along on board the Keyte-class vessel, patrolling seas around Christmas Island.
These elite marine tactical officers are ready for almost any threat, from pirates and drug runners to people smugglers and illegal fishers.
Their imposing presence, the biggest deterrent.
The people that are potentially doing the wrong thing within Australia's maritime boundaries know that we're there and know that we can respond.
The 190-foot Keyte-class cruiser is kitted out with the latest in surveillance technology and radar communications, while for crew, living conditions are surprisingly comfortable. The commercial kitchen serves restaurant-quality food. An indoor and outdoor gym keeps the troops fit. There's even a dedicated medical facility with a doctor on board. Downstairs is where any detainees are securely kept. These bunks capable of holding up to 50 people.
Sometimes it's fishing, sometimes it's illegal drugs. It's just being able to change to whatever the needs are.
Each member spends 28 days out at sea before they get a rest. Border Force looking to expand their ranks with recruiting now underway. Natalie Forrest for 10 News First, Christmas Island.
Witnesses have saved an Essendon barber shop from extensive damage after it was targeted by arsonists with a Molotov cocktail. The attack happened about 9:30 last night. Two men threw the device through the front window of the business, then fled in a ute. The first witnesses on the scene managed to control the flames before fire crews arrived. Police are trying to determine the motive for the attack. Well, let's take another look at the traffic. It's back up to Jess Miller in the chopper.
Thanks, Jen. Flying over Albert Park in the Sheen Panel Service traffic chopper. Just making sure the racetrack is ready for the Grand Prix. I reckon it's looking pretty good right now. Lakeside Drive is closed off to the public in both directions past the lake. Queens Road and St Kilda Road will be taking all the extra traffic, but they're not looking too bad for today, given it's pretty quiet on the roads anyway around the city. But we might cruise back here later in the week when there's a bit more action. Jen?
Sounds good. Thank you, Jess. Prehistoric creatures, wonders of nature and childhood fairy tales have provided the inspiration for a marvellous Moomba parade. But it was Queen Julia Morris who stole the show with the most wanted accessory in town.
Moomba Queen Julia Morris knows what the people want.
In order to be a monarch of the people, perhaps 2 sheets per person I could hand out.
Distributing precious 3-ply to the Moomba parade crowd, embracing her royal role.
I will be hugging anyone that I can get my hands onto because genuinely, as a mother who works full-time, I am desperate to be quarantined for 2 weeks.
Look, we're not even wearing gloves. The Queen and her king, fellow comedian Nazim Hussain, cruised behind a convoy of floats, all designed by Melbourne children.
It's like really creative. I love it.
The Rainbow Island float was created by children undergoing cancer treatment.
They're so strong and they're all so special.
There were belly dancers, prehistoric monsters and bendy people in bubbles.
This represents the multicultural heart of Melbourne, a wonderful community feeling.
We've got the 6 grandkids there and bring them down. They love it.
My dad used to take me here as a baby, so we're passing it on.
1,800 performers from more than 30 community and cultural groups strutted their stuff and spread the love.
It's exactly Melbourne. We are the weirdest people in the country and we celebrate that.
Moomba was first held in 1955 and continues to entertain more than 80,000 people who line the streets to watch the colourful parade each year. Coming to something sweet and fun where everyone feels a bit daggy is incredibly inclusive.
Yasmin Payton for 10 News First.
Lots of fun. Well, now here's Stephen with sport, and there was more than one party in the city today.
Sure was, Jen. Our victorious Women's World Cup team hit Federation Square, and it's a party that will last 4 days. All the action from Colac as the Cats take on the Bombers, and it was the day of the Falcon as the Roos hold off the Swans in Hobart.
Crashing your car can leave you feeling stranded. Contact Sheen Panel Service. We deal with your insurance company and will organise an accident replacement vehicle, keeping you on the road while we fix your car. For more information, visit sheengroup.com.au.
Melanie C's spicing up the desk tonight, 6:30.
Which side of the bed is the safest?
Jack always has to sleep on the side of the bed by the door, because I call that the murderer side.
Yes. I always sleep on the door side because if someone's going to run fast, I want it to be me.
That's why I always put ankle weights on my wife's. I'm out of there.
Husey, we have a problem after Survivor tonight.
Got my plant-based Rebel Whopper, your triple Whopper cheese.
And my double Homestyle Whopper.
Try Hungry Jack's new Homestyle Whopper with iBacon, barbecue, chipotle and crispy bacon. Whopper your way, only at Hungry Jack's.
If you've been injured at work, it's important to know where you stand. Talk to Australia's #1 injuries law firm. Morris Blackburn Lawyers will maximise your compensation so you can get on with your life again. Call us now. It costs nothing to know where you stand.
Creating something that feels just right. That's an art. It needs just the right amount of room to move. Elegant lines, a unique flow. Everything exactly in its place. Precisely crafted and beautifully finished. So when you try it, well, you just know. All new Mazda CX-30. Everything just right.
this much.
Peter.
Peter? Peter Rabbit
I hate that I'm the face of this.
is back.
It's true.
He's a little naughty.
What? I've changed. I promise. Okay, I can't promise you in or you out. Let's go.
You always take things one step too far.
It's a gift.
Peter Rabbit 2, in cinemas March 19.
Chemist Warehouse leaves you saving more with our amazing March catalogue sale on now. Get the Zestos Eucalyptus Spray Twin Pack $12.99. Any Pediasure Ready to Drink 200ml 6 for $18. Sukin SPF 30 Sheer Touch Facial Sunscreen $17.39. Go Healthy Turmeric and Glucosamine 120 capsules $26.99. For the biggest range at the lowest price, shop at Chemist Warehouse and stop paying too much.
Oh, everything comes in its own special size. I guess it can be measured by where you put your eyes. It's so big when you're close, it looks smaller back a bit. That's about the size of it.
Need a little perspective on all things work? We can help.
Where you put your eyes, that's about the size of it.
Okay, Blender, it's time to tango. Because each morning I'm reclaiming my health with NIB Rewards, which gives me discounts on hundreds of everyday items and experiences. It's how I got you. And you know what? I'm just getting started.
Reclaim your health with NIB today. It's worth it.
Good evening. After thrashing India in front of a record crowd, the Aussie women's T20 team has shaken off their hangovers to greet thousands of adoring fans. The 85-run win put Australia on top of the world for a fifth time and also showcased women's cricket like never before.
On top of the world after delivering on the biggest stage. And this win, well, it's just not cricket. It's much more than that.
Ladies and gentlemen, your champions, the Australian cricket team!
Oh man, it was so fun. Yeah, just like a moment that you're like, did that actually happen?
Last night was just like this big celebration of, I guess the growth of women's sport, not just in Australia but around the world.
The Aussies overcoming poor form, injury and weather to triumph in a story of true grit and that buzzword resilience.
And with that, a magical moment in Australian sport.
Did you have your doubts? Because it was all going wrong.
It was. Anything that could go wrong did go wrong.
With more than 86,000 crammed into the G and billions tuning in around the world, the Aussies pummeled India with the bat.
There she goes again. Now the fielder will watch it sail over. What a start this is.
Alyssa Healy, the star of the night, whacking 75 off 39 balls.
And his wife is doing it now. What a shot.
You realise you're now an inspiration for anyone who's out of form in anything, apparently?
Form is very much temporary. I can assure everybody of that.
With Elise Perry injured, Megan Schutt became the Aussie attack's big gun. Her target, India's teenage prodigy.
Yeah! Oh, gone, isn't she? I think she has. Gone!
It was a bloody good catch. I'm glad Mitch was up for the stumps, but I don't know. I just wanted one to swing.
We saw a couple of tears at the end there. Were they tears of joy?
I think most of the team was crying, yeah. It was really pretty much just happiness, yeah.
And then there was the after party. They are the greatest party boots I've ever seen. Can you quickly talk me through what you're doing here?
Katy Perry kindly donated them to me last night.
Are you pulling my leg or is that fair dinkum?
Well, I did put a bit of mayo on that story. It was one of the backup dancers' shoes. They weren't actually Katy Perry's, but she was still part of the show.
The only travesty of the night, Vice-Captain Rachel Haynes missing the Perry dance-along due to a drug test.
A massive stitch up with the drug testing, but I was absolutely spewing.
Nick Butler for 10 News First.
Giant Jeremy Cameron is free to play in round one despite an incident that left Tiger Kane Lambert concussed. The reigning Coleman medalist had no case to answer for this incident in yesterday's pre-season win at Wagga Wagga. Lambert was unable to play at the match, but the match review officer didn't view the stray knee as a reportable offence. Meanwhile, Bulldog Will Hayes has been offered a one-game ban for rough conduct. North Melbourne forward Ben Brown has conceded he might not be back until round 3 because of a calf injury. Nick Larkey stood up in his absence for an 11-point win over Sydney in Hobart. And the Swans will be sweating with another key forward in doubt for round one after a dubious bump.
Concussion is the AFL's hot-button issue, and Will Hayward ensured it'll hang over round one.
But that action we have to stamp out of the game.
Reported on the spot for his high hit on Curtis Taylor.
It was clumsy.
Jasper Pittard was also left seeing stars with no one to blame but himself.
He is going to have the word in reverse, Sharon, written down the side of his forehead.
And he followed it up with another in the third. North made a fast start with the opening three, but it was whittled away by a Sydney outfit that got slicker by the minute.
What's this?
Papley. That's fantastic, isn't it? He's hard to catch.
That's super.
Tom Papley reminding Carlton they may have made a blue.
Well, he was the star in the bushfire relief game.
He's a great front and square player, we know that.
They didn't stump up at the trade table, and it could be a decision they come to regret if his pre-season form stacks up. When the Roos started to throw their weight around...
Door sized up Papley.
They looked a threat, even with Ben Brown on the sidelines.
I'm actually getting an MRI tomorrow just to see how everything's ticking along, and hopefully that's all positive and we can really aim for round one. So that's what I'm hoping for, but the reality is that, you know, it could be round 2 or 3.
Nick Larkey well and truly stood up in his absence.
Right over the top of Alir. You don't see that too often.
Finishing with 3, while Team Curtis Taylor also showed promise, with 2 to go with his 21 touches. But by far the biggest tick was no new injuries on the eve of the season proper. Keyte Price for 10 News First.
And the final match of the pre-season is underway with Geelong and Essendon playing in Colac. It took only a minute for Jack Stephen to make an impact at his new club, setting up this goal for Brian Myers. The Cats had an anxious moment when Sam Menegola left the field after this clash, but he's now back playing. Richmond Premiership player Jacob Townsend enjoyed this goal as a Don.
Zaharakis, good instinct. Townsend puts it through.
The injury-hit Bombers making a game of it against a top-strength Geelong side. The Brisbane Lions believe the sky's the limit this season. Much like their mural in the club's old heartland of Fitzroy, the Lions are painting a pretty picture of the year ahead after finishing top 4 last season.
Sky's the limit, I think. Yeah, we won't put a number on it or anything like that. But yeah, obviously we're striving to get where we were last year and above.
I think last year was a great year overall, but we were really disappointed with how it ended, and we're out to I guess, improve.
The Lions finished their pre-season preparations with a 45-point win over the Blues last night. Adding to Carlton's woes, defenders Caleb Marchbank and Lockie Plowman both suffered injuries, but the club says they are minor. Connections of Alligator Blood know their cult gelding must be on his game if they're to win Saturday's All-Star Mile. The Queenslander has knocked the socks off racegoers this autumn and is putting his weight behind a colourful campaign to raise money for equine welfare. But it'll be all business come the weekend, where Melody Bell and Fierce Impact loom as the biggest threats in the $5 million race.
Our boy's going to have to be right on top of his game to win this.
The barrier draw for the All-Star Mile will be held tomorrow. For the first time in a decade, Manchester United completed the Premier League double over their City rivals. Anthony Martial volleyed home a set piece, while City's keeper... In London, Chelsea thrashed Everton 4-0 to remain 4th on the ladder. With the Masters at Augusta looming large next month, Victoria's Mark Leishman is in red-hot form, falling just short of victory at the Arnold Palmer Invitational in Florida.
Big putt for Leishman to hold it.
And Leishman with a huge 4 at 11.
The Aussie came from 4 shots back with 9 holes to play, but finished a shot off Englishman Tyrrell Hatton. It sees Leishman jump 6 places to world number 15. Surfing Sydney's North Shore isn't easy when you have locals making waves for the wrong reasons.
Oh my goodness, that is unbelievable.
Wow, what is happening there?
Oh my goodness.
Charlie Covrant managed to complete his ride despite the shove in the back, and while he didn't get close to a perfect 10 for fighting more than just the ocean, he scores our player of the day. And not advocating violence at all, Jen, but usually that means you get a punch in the nose if you do that.
Wave rage. Thank you, Stephen. Coming up, Mike's back with the weather and we're warming up. Details next.
Comedy king Stephen K. Amos joins us for a laugh, 6:30.
It's just another day in camp. And then it changes. It's devastating for all of us. It's a tragedy.
The shock departure on 10. It continues 7:30 tonight.
Drive into Bow Repairs before these holidays and save. Buy 3 selected Goodyear car or SUV tyres and get the 4th one free. Plus, get up to $100 off when you buy 4 selected Goodyear Performance or 4x4 tyres. Bow Repairs. Call 132381.
We've been robbed. Stereo, the TV.
What about Boomia?
Worth something to you? Then it's worth Amy Contents Insurance with new fraud replacement due to fire or theft. That's value, that's Amy.
Lucky you're with Amy.
Low prices and free delivery on millions of items. Easy as amazon.com.au.
Jenny Craig is here to help you lose weight the healthy way.
A weight loss journey is really difficult to do on your own. That's the benefit of Jenny Craig. Having a consultant with you keeps you accountable. It absolutely works, and here I'm a testament to the success.
I love being able to come home and knowing exactly what I was going to have that day. I just feel better about myself. I'm more confident. I'm healthier.
Join today with a free 8-week membership plus free food delivery. Cost of food additional.
Call Jenny Craig now.
When you see a home loan offer this good, you can't help but be a little excited. Talk to us today or ask your broker.
Smooth, delicious McCafe coffee. Barista made with care and craft. Buy any 5 McCafe drinks and get one free. Download the My Macca's app to grab yours today.
When you're looking to move forward, Seek's career advice can help you choose the right path.
That's about the size of it.
If you've got a small business, you can save big across the legendary Triton range. Right now, ABN holders can take advantage of incredible national fleet prices. So hurry into Mitsubishi. The time of your life starts now.
Hello, good morning, how you doing?
Welcome back. Plenty of sunshine today. Now it's over to Mike to see if there's more on the way.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. Good evening once again. Plenty of sunshine today, but more so this week. And in fact, it warms up nicely, close to 30 or maybe even a 30 come Friday. And also some rain as we move into the weekend. But of course, it is Moomba Monday. Fireworks around 9:30 tonight. And the big 4 days close around 10 o'clock as the second lot of crowd sort of comes along. We've had the daytime crowd, now the nighttime crowd arrives. Okay, some fabulous photos now that have been sent to Mike's Pics at network10.com.au. And first up from Julie Harrison, beautiful Benalla, with cloud rolling in, and you gotta love a rainbow. This offering from Ian Pegram of Endeavour Hills at the Nobbies on Phillip Island. So it was a coolish start to your day. Around 7:30 it was 12 degrees. I guess being a public holiday, many still sleeping in. And a maximum this afternoon, 21 degrees, and that occurred just after 3 o'clock. Outside right now, it is a lovely evening, 19 degrees. The humidity around 48%. The wind light southerly at around 15 kilometres per hour. Bayside in the city, only about 5 kilometres per hour. around Melbourne this afternoon, and most maximums were somewhere between 19 and 21 degrees, so a little cooler than average for March. Across our state, and it was today sunnier than it has been lately. A bit of morning drizzle in Gippsland, otherwise dry, southerly winds, temperatures remaining below average, generally 1 to 5 below the March norm. 28 degrees today's max in Mildura. Around this mighty big country of ours, over in Perth, 34 degrees. We'll get that heat here in a couple of days. Adelaide today, 26, Hobart 15, up in Brisbane, 23 degrees. They've had 8 millimetres of rain, 33 mils towards the Gold Coast. Sydney today, 22 degrees with 3 millimetres of rain. And in Canberra, where a guy hard of hearing in a groundbreaking operation had his ears replaced with ears from a pig. Well, sure, he can hear now, but there's a lot of crackling. 21 degrees. The weather charts are slow moving high, pushing eastwards. We'll head out into the Tasman, and in return, winds will turn northerly, and therefore warming up from Wednesday. A front Friday will bring some rain. The rainfall chart, speaking of which, up north, the tropical cyclone is spinning off the Queensland east coast for a heap of rain up there again, and there's still plenty of flooding in southwest Queensland from ex-cyclone Esther. Interstate over to Adelaide, 30 degrees in a couple of days, 32. Hobart tomorrow, 19 and mainly sunny, and then very wet Friday and Saturday. Sydney 24 the next couple of days, Brisbane 26 and 27 all week, tomorrow in Canberra 23 and partly cloudy. Across our state, apart from isolated afternoon showers about the eastern ranges and possibly the northern border, it'll be dry for you Tuesday, partly cloudy in the north and the east, but mostly sunny in the south and southwest. A smidge of 30 in the northwest, Horsham 28, Albury 27, Hamilton 26. Around Melbourne, it's 6s and 7s in the Dandenongs and the Yarra Valley. Mount D 7 to 21, in the Yarra Valley 6 to 25. Frankston warming up nicely tomorrow, Money sunny 12 to 24 degrees, in Geelong 12 to 21. And on the bays, we've got east-southeasterly winds at 15 to 20 knots, waves about a metre, the sun rising at 7:13, and don't forget tonight, it's the big supermoon, the supermoon tonight at around 10 to 8. It'll be a full moon really, really close to Earth. And at a forecast for our wonderful city by the bay, it is Moomba Town, remaining fine tonight, down to about 11 degrees for a coolish start. It was 12 this morning, and then you can look forward to a mostly sunny day, 23 degrees as we return to school and as we go back to work. Yep, love a short working week. Light winds tending southeast to southwesterly, which sounds okay tomorrow, and it gets warmer. In fact, I've got a 7-day forecast shortly, and how's this? There is a 30-degree day on the way, and also plenty of rain. The 7-day forecast coming up soon on 10 News.
The stories we're following tonight. The number of coronavirus cases in Victoria jumps as the Health Minister refuses to say sorry to the infected Toorak doctor. Full speed ahead for the Formula One, putting corona concerns on the back burner as the teams get ready to rev their engines. And a stable hand working for top trainer Danny O'Brien killed in a freak accident while out for an early morning riding session. The number of coronavirus cases in Victoria has jumped again, increasing by 50% in just 72 hours. Doctors are now urging anyone who has returned from overseas to get checked if they feel unwell.
The 3 new cases confirmed last night take Victoria's coronavirus count from 10 to 15 in just 3 days. Authorities now say any overseas traveller with flu-like symptoms should be tested as the illness continues to spread around the world.
The growing case numbers in the US over the last few days are of concern, but we're just watching that.
Victoria's latest coronavirus patients touched down on flights from America and Iran. A man in his 50s travelled home from the US on the same plane as Dr. Chris Higgins. The coronavirus positive GP is demanding an apology from the Health Minister over suggestions he should have known better than to go to work unwell.
I won't make any apology for putting the public health of Victorians first.
More than 17,000 people have signed a petition in support of Dr. Higgins. The State Health Department claims a runny nose should have been a red flag.
Respiratory symptoms have generally been understood to include runny nose, but if it needs to be made explicit for clinicians to be able to make that judgment, then I'm sure that they can consider it.
But advice about the sniffles remains unclear.
It depends on the extent of it. Clearly you can tell between a slightly blocked and sniffed nose and someone who has a cold. Most people can tell that.
In Sydney, 2 schools have been shut down after 3 students tested positive to the virus. It's thought they may have picked it up locally. While there haven't been any local transmissions in Victoria, the government says it's just a matter of time. It's working on boosting capacity for public hospitals to do on-site testing, with tests for healthcare workers to be made a priority. Repeated testing allowed Caitlin So and her family to be released from quarantine in Japan. The 16-year-old contracted COVID-19 on board the Diamond Princess. She's now virus-free after 32 days in isolation.
Seeing my friends again and seeing other people, going outside more often.
Estelle Lewis for 10 News First.
Our stock market has suffered its biggest losses since the global financial crisis, with more than $100 billion lost, or more than 7% in a matter of hours. It's fuelled by fear and uncertainty about the coronavirus, but there is a silver lining.
A sea of red as the markets drown in panic.
It's a grim day. The market had its worst decline since the global financial crisis.
More than $100 billion wiped off the ASX. Share portfolios and superannuation balances absolutely hammered. But despite the carnage, we're being reassured this is nothing like 2008.
And this is a very different situation to what we saw through the GFC, which was essentially a problem with the banking and the financial system and issues of liquidity. We haven't seen those same problems in relation to this health crisis.
Energy stocks the worst hit.
One of the ones that stood out was Santos falling in the order of 30%. To have that sort of loss in the space of a day is an extraordinary blow to investor confidence.
And while a lot of the market's recent losses have been down to coronavirus, today is different. It's because of a plunge in global oil prices. And the reason for that is last Friday, OPEC, the group that represents most of the world's major producers, asked Russia to cut its production as the world works through the health crisis. And at the moment, there just isn't the demand for oil, with decreased air travel and manufacturing. But Russia said no deal. It's going to press ahead with current levels. Now, this got a response from Saudi Arabia, the biggest exporter in the world. It's now going to ramp up production, flooding the market. While a lot of this news can seem really scary, here's a tiny bit of an upside. Economists who've spoken with 10 News First say that if this global oil price holds, we could soon be paying 14 cents a litre less at the bowser. That's the equivalent of a $2.4 billion tax break.
Between the coronavirus and this latest production war between Saudis and the Russians, well, you know, it's good times for Australian families.
Charlotte Goodlett for 10 News First.
And coronavirus concerns have caused havoc in the world of Formula One racing, with Bahrain announcing its event will be spectator-free. But not here. It's all systems go for the Melbourne Grand Prix as teams begin to arrive ahead of the big race.
In pit lane, Ferrari showed up last. Its shipment, that is. So did AlphaTauri's. Both teams are based in regions locked down by the Italian government because of the COVID-19 outbreak. They got special permission to leave.
The final personnel are leaving Milan pretty much as we speak.
Unlike the next race, round 2 in Bahrain, where fans will be banned because of outbreak concerns. But here, caution will be key.
People will see increased washing stations, they'll see increased hand sanitisation.
Right now, on the ground, 1,500 workers are shifting 700 tonnes of freight, and F1 ambassadors living their best life.
So how good is this?
Getting a first taste of the food, flavours and entertainment. Maxime was flown in from Amsterdam just to pour the perfect beer.
You want to pour it the right way, so it's a 45-degree angle.
It's all about speed too.
This is where the action happens, in the pits, but we're in the Pamper pit. Jay, Joey, can you fix this face and hair in 3 seconds?
Yeah, we
sure can, but the hat needs to go.
Thanks, guys.
And the choreography of that is sensational.
And while Ferrari is fast, COVID-19 may slow them down.
I get the impression that the teams are slightly reduced in their numbers.
Time will tell if the virus will impact the paddock and podium. Christina Costalis for 10 News First.
Melbourne Cup winning trainer Danny O'Brien says he's devastated and heartbroken after a staff member who'd been working for him for only a month was killed in a freak car crash. The stable hand died after the horse he was riding was hit on the Bellarine Peninsula. Annie Kearney is at the scene.
This road is one that employees of Danny O'Brien have ridden many times. But today, tragedy struck with a stable hand killed after he and his mount were hit by a car here on 13th Beach Road. The man in his early 30s had been riding an unraced horse to and from their huge training centre at Conowari, about 5 kilometres away. The rider is a Japanese national, and the O'Briens spent today contacting his family. In a statement, they said, "We've had some tough days in this industry, but they are nothing compared to the heartbreak and sadness of today." It appears that the horse in question of the incident has only minor injuries. However, our vet will continue monitoring its progress. The driver of the car also suffered minor injuries. Victoria Police and WorkSafe are investigating the circumstances surrounding the crash.
Thanks, Annie. Tree experts have renewed calls for stronger regulations after 3 people were killed by a falling gum in the Dandenongs. 2 others remain in hospital as police desperately try to contact the victim's family overseas.
24 hours after a freak accident claimed 3 lives in a national park, major collision detectives returned to the scene. They're now leading the investigation.
These are very rare events, and we can, up to a point, inspect some of the trees. We know what to look for.
A 32-year-old man and a 34-year-old woman from Aintree died when a gum tree fell on their car as they drove along Sherbrooke Road. Their 4-year-old son was taken to hospital with minor injuries, along with a 25-year-old woman from India. A 16-year-old passenger from India also died.
These are tragic circumstances. They're tragic accidents. What we have to look at in a non-political way is what can be done to try and avoid them recurring in the future.
In a statement, Parks Victoria said it's working with the Yarra Rangers Council and Victoria Police on the investigation. It's not clear who is responsible for inspecting the trees or how often they should be checked.
We usually recommend annually, but that's not all trees. That's for trees that you've got a reason to be suspicious of.
The tragedy follows a string of fatal tree falls, including the death of a father and son in July at nearby Sherbrooke. Jade Kotick for 10 News First.
Witnesses have saved an Essendon barber shop from extensive damage after it was targeted by arsonists with a Molotov cocktail. The attack happened about 9:30 last night. 2 men threw the device through the front window of the business, then fled in a ute. The first witnesses on the scene managed to control the flames before fire crews arrived. Police are trying to determine the motive for the attack. Families of 38 Australians killed when flight MH17 was shot down over Ukraine are in the Netherlands for the trial of 3 Russians and a Ukrainian charged with their murder. Europe correspondent Phoebe Bowden is there.
The trial of 4 men accused of murdering 298 people who took off on MH17 from Amsterdam Airport will begin today. Relatives of victims want answers about why the Malaysia Airlines flight was shot out of the sky. Russia denied any responsibility, even though there is evidence it was involved. 38 Australians were killed. Some of their relatives have travelled to the Netherlands for the trial. In Amsterdam, 298 empty chairs were laid out in silent protest outside the Russian embassy. There's hope the murder trial will bring answers about what happened. And while victims' relatives will be at the International Criminal Court trial, the accused will not. Russia refuses to extradite the men charged. The trial is expected to take months and could even push into next year, so answers for friends and relatives of the victims won't come quickly.
Phoebe Bowden reporting. Well, let's take another look at the traffic now. It's back up to Jess Miller in the chopper.
Thanks, Jen. It is all happening at Moomba right now. Checking it out in the Sheen Panel Service traffic chopper. Obviously, lots of pedestrian activity in and around Birrang Ma. And in terms of road closures, we have Boathouse Drive west of Alexandra Ave closed both ways. St Kilda Road, that is out of action near Flinders Street. And a few smaller roads throughout South Bank as well. And obviously, you can see there the Princess Bridge that is packed with pedestrians trying to make their way across the river. Jen?
Thank you, Jess. Well, Stephen's back now with a look at tonight's sport.
Thank you, Jen. It's the last of the AFL's pre-season games, with the Kangaroos beating the Swans and the Cats hosting the Bombers in Colac. Also, while the Vicks keep their Sheffield Shield hopes alive, the big party continues for our World Cup champions.
Crashing your car can leave you feeling stranded. Contact Sheen Panel Service. We deal with your insurance company and will organise an accident replacement vehicle, keeping you on the road while we fix your car. For more information, visit sheengroup.com.au.
We chat to cricket captain Meg Lanning following Australia's World Cup win. Plus, things get even more sporty when Melanie C joins us at the desk.
How much is the Kluger again, Dad?
$41,990. Bet you that bloke wishes he had one.
Get Kluger two-wheel drive GX. Drive away from $41,990 plus $1,000 of genuine accessories. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Olay was put to the ultimate MRI test. The MRI proved Olay intensely hydrates your skin for a plumper, firmer and more radiant glow. See the results in 28 days. Olay.
This March,
Peter
Rabbit
I hate that I'm the face of this.
is back.
It's true.
He's a little naughty.
What? I've changed, I promise. Okay, I can't promise you in or you out. Let's go.
You always take things one step too far.
It's a gift.
Peter Rabbit 2 in cinemas March 19.
Cheese and ham.
Mum makes me ham and cheese.
For great tasting ham, make every day primo.
When I first met Nugget, he was stuck in a hole. But I've been pushing him hard. Now, Nugget is healthy and regular. Take Metamucil daily, a natural way to stay regular and support a healthy gut.
Got my plant-based Rebel Whopper, your triple Whopper cheese.
And my double Homestyle Whopper.
Try Hungry Jack's new Homestyle Whopper with iBacon, barbecue, chipotle and crispy bacon. Whopper your way, only at Hungry Jack's.
Nine. No. Nay. No. No matter how you say it, it'll make so many travellers happy. Flight Centre now has no online booking fee, unlike most of our competitors. That's why we're best in the air and everywhere. Flight Centre.
Where will you get Tab's 42 days of deals? Over brekkie? With your bestie? Or at a barbie? While you wait? While you watch? On the 289 at 2 a.m. At the track? The ground? With these two, these three, or from the three. Wherever you are this autumn, get Tab's 42 days of deals across racing and sport. Check the app or visit your local to find out more. Tab, long may we play.
Can you get youthful looking skin without greasiness? Olay Whips, light as air finish moisturiser that intensely hydrates and gives you plumper, firmer skin without greasiness. Olay Whips.
Save at the Mazda stock clearance. BT50 4x4 XT Utes now from only $37,490 drive away for ABN holders. Limited stock, limited time, great savings.
It's just another day in camp. And then it changes. It's devastating for all of us. It's a tragedy.
The shock departure, 7:30 tonight.
The Aussie T20 Women's World Champions have continued to party on after last night's big win in front of more than 86,000 fans. One of the stars of the night was fast bowler Megan Schutt, who snared 4 crucial wickets. Nick Butler caught up with her.
Yes, good evening. Well, I've got the speed demon, the spearhead of the attack with me, and Megan Schutt, who's just signing some autographs. Megan, look, you look pretty fresh. How are you feeling at the moment?
That's why I'm wearing my sunglasses. Yeah, obviously this is bloody incredible. For everyone to be here for us again, pretty much backing up the 86,000 yesterday, it's pretty special.
Let's talk about your role last night. You had to lead the attack, and you did it with aplomb.
Yeah, look, I didn't get here for a 6 last night, so that was nice. I just wanted the big wicket of Irma, so when I got that, I was pretty stoked. But honestly, that game was just absolutely incredible.
Pretty special group this, isn't it? I can see the bond and just the pure joy.
We're very lucky to have the team that we do. We honestly just all get along and love each other and want each other to succeed, and that kind of goes a long way to playing good cricket, and hopefully we've got the same core group for a long time.
This is more than just cricket, though. Have a look at this. What about the inspiration you're providing to these kids?
Oh, it's absolutely stunning, to be honest. Like, this is the kind of stuff you dream of as a kid, and you don't actually think it's going to come true. So for everyone to be out here supporting us, and obviously for all the people that have gone before us as well, it just shows where women's cricket is going.
Let's talk Katy Perry and dance moves. How did you perform?
I was terrible. I got told we weren't allowed to jump on the stage, which there goes all my moves. But we joked about dancing with Katie after the game. To actually get on stage with her, we didn't think it was going to happen. So what a moment.
This party going to roll on for a couple more days?
Yeah, I think so. That's for sure.
You might need a hair of the dog.
I think so, that's for sure.
Thank you so much and good luck.
Yes, thank you.
There we go, the spearhead, Megan Schutt. Shooting straight as always.
Nick Butler. Meantime, our men's team has begun arriving home from South Africa, having been swept by the Proteas in a 3-match ODI series. It continued the Aussies' poor run in one day as 7 losses in their last 8 matches.
Marnus obviously scored 100 in the last game and batted particularly well, but other than that, the top 4 didn't get 100 throughout the rest of the game, so that's an area of focus for us.
Australia and New Zealand meet at the SCG on Friday in the first of 3 ODIs. Victoria's finals hopes remain alive after beating South Australia on the final day of their Sheffield Shield clash.
Up and high, man comes round, and that's the ball game.
The 182-run win was the Vic's 3rd in a row. Will Sutherland continued his hot form with 6 wickets. Giant Jeremy Cameron will line up in round 1 against the Cats despite an incident that left Tiger Kane Lambert concussed. The GWS forward received no punishment for this incident in yesterday's pre-season win against Richmond. Lambert was unable to play at the match, but the match review officer didn't classify the stray knee as a reportable offence. Meanwhile, Bulldog Will Hayes has been offered a 1-game ban for this tackle against Port Adelaide. North Melbourne could be without key forward Ben Brown for longer than anticipated. The forward watched on as his teammates beat the Swans by 11 points in Hobart and says round 1 is no guarantee.
That's what I'm hoping for, but the reality is that, it could be round 2 or 3.
The Roos returning stars, Jared Pollock, Jack Zeeble and Sean Higgins all got through, but Sydney has concerns with Will Hayward, who's on report for a high bump on Curtis Taylor in the first quarter. Essendon and Geelong are locked in a tight battle to close off the 2020 pre-season competition. Mark Blitzavs provided an early highlight for the Colac crowd with a hanger. Jack Stephen twice provided the assist for Brian Myers to goal.
This probably suits him, the way he goes out to the right.
And yes, it does. Oh.
Former Tiger Jacob Townsend was the shining light in the Essendon forward line in the first half, booting 2 goals. And the real stuff all starts, not this Thursday, but next Thursday, Jen.
Can't wait. Should be great. Thank you, Stephen. Mike will be back after the break with the 7-day forecast.
It's just another day in camp. And then it changes. Just like that. Bang. What's happened? What's happened? What's the matter? We don't know what's going on. We got no idea. It's devastating for all of us. It's a tragedy.
The shock departure. 7:30 tonight. Come on.
Supported by the Victorian Government.
You keep saying you got something for me, something you call love, but confess these boots are made for walking. And
Okay,
that's
Lucy.
just what they'll do.
That's enough.
One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you.
Did you hear about Mikey? Had a bad accident.
Oh, no, it's no good. Isn't his wife expecting?
Yeah. But it looks like his insurance with Cbus has him covered.
Cbus offers super insurance options for our industry.
Let me tell you about Fairy, from the world's #1 dish care company. For stuck-on grease, just spray Fairy Easy Spray and grease melts away. For hand washing, Fairy dishwashing liquid lifts off tough grease before your eyes. And for your dishwasher, Fairy Platinum Plus beats Finish Quantum at cleaning stuck-on food on the first wash. Try it like I did. Switch to Fairy, from the world's #1 dish care company.
The LDV T60. It's a beaut, tough and packed with features. And the beaut news is right now it's from just $27,490 drive away. That's $1,500 off. It's why more people are saying it's LDV for me.
King is a story of legacy. Quiet lines of elegance, bending gravity, trimmed with wonder, and tailored with grace. Life's stories are told on a King.
Light and Easy is more than just a great weight loss solution. It also gives you more time to enjoy a healthier life, simply by having delicious healthy meals delivered to your home. In fact, Light and Easy have just been recognised as Australia's #1 healthy meal delivery service, scoring 5 stars for customer satisfaction as well as taste, variety and freshness. All things you'll find on their new autumn menu. So whether you want to lose weight with their new Jumpstart program or enjoy a healthier life, order from the new autumn menu today.
Got my plant-based Rebel Whopper, your triple Whopper cheese.
And my double Homestyle Whopper. Try Hungry Jack's new Homestyle Whopper with iBacon, barbecue, chipotle and crispy bacon. Whopper your way, only at Hungry Jack's.
Up next, the number of confirmed cases is growing. So would shutting down schools help contain coronavirus? Australia's women's cricket team smashes it out of the park with one of the world's biggest stars along for the ride. And if you want to be in the know about Melanie C, stay right where you are. The superstar is joining us at the desk. The project next.
Now Mike's back with the 7-day forecast.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. Very good evening on this public holiday Monday. In fact, the long weekend hasn't been too bad. It's been fairly dry across Melbourne. Temperatures in the low 20s, but the good news, warming up nicely. Now we're all going back to work. Well, it is Moomba Monday, and often there's a huge crowd here, but I tell you what, there doesn't seem to be a lot of people here tonight. But anyway, we've got fireworks around 9:30 as the families do start to gather as the sun starts to set. Okay, let's talk about today's weather, and it's been for the most part a sunny day. 12 degrees was the overnight low. We reversed those figures for our maximum, and that was 21 degrees just after 3 o'clock this afternoon. It is a good looking night tonight, but if you are heading down to Moomba, make sure you grab a jacket. Don't need a bridle, but grab a jacket. It will be a tad on the cool side. At the moment, 19 degrees. It'll drop down to about sort of 14, 15 as the sun sets. The humidity at 48%, and the wind is southerly, currently blowing at 12 kilometres per hour. Around Melbourne today, and most maximums were between 19 and 21 degrees, and of course it was somewhat cooler at Mount Dandenong. Across our state, and it was sunnier today than it's been for a while. Bit of drizzle this morning in Gippsland, otherwise clear skies, southerly winds, and that meant temperatures did remain below the average. 28 the max up in the northwest, with temperatures up to 5 degrees colder than average for this time of year. Around Australia, international capital, 21 degrees, a degree warmer up in Sydney, 2 degrees warmer up in Brisbane where it's been raining. Over in Perth today, a lovely day, 34 degrees. Hobart though, a chilly 15. Interstate tomorrow, over to Adelaide, 30 degrees, and then it starts warming up. Perth's heat moving across for a couple of days in the low 30s. Hobart 19 degrees and mainly sunny. Then the rain comes in late Friday and Saturday, around 20, maybe 25 mils of rain Friday and Saturday. Sydney 24 degrees the next few days, 26, 27 all week up in Brisbane, and then the national capital 23 degrees, but it will be partly cloudy. Across our state, well, a smidge of 30 degrees in the northwest, and then Horsham 28, Albury 27, Hamilton 26 degrees. Just the odd isolated afternoon shower about the eastern ranges, possibly the northern border. Otherwise, a dry day, fairly cloudy in the north and the east, but mainly sunny in the south and the southwest. Around Melbourne, no warnings tonight or tomorrow. Coolish tomorrow morning in the Yarra Valley, 6 to 25. At Mount D, just 7 to 21. At Frankston, 12 to 24. And in Geelong, 12 to 21 degrees. On the bays, east-southeasterly winds at 15 to 20 knots. Waves, as almost usual, 1 metre. And a reminder also, the supermoon tonight at 10 to 8. It's a big, big moon to look out for. So for Melbourne, home to Moomba, down to 11 degrees for a cool start to a mainly sunny Tuesday. Yep, back to school, back to work tomorrow. Cannot wait. Light winds tending southeast to southwesterly. Now on to Wednesday, simply lovely. 13, 28, mainly sunny with light northerly winds at 15 kilometres per hour. Thursday, similar sort of day, but warmer in the morning. 18 degrees the overnight low, up to 29 degrees and mainly sunny. Northerly winds of 20 to 30 kilometres per hour. Have a look at Friday. Temperature-wise, 20 to 30, but it will become windy. The winds to 40 k's as showers move in at night. 6 to maybe 20 mils of rain if there's a storm. Saturday, 13 to 17, a possible shower in the morning. And then GP Sunday, 20 degrees and partly cloudy, and a 20% chance of wet weather tyres on track. That is it. So that's the forecast. Have a wonderful night tonight. A couple of kids gathering around for Moomba. See you tomorrow night, Jen.
Thank you, Mike. And that's 10 News First for this Monday. Updates through the evening. The Project is next. Good night.
Tonight, the number of confirmed cases is growing, so would shutting down